Hello and welcome back to a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm your host,
Alejandro DeLilahooz.
Alejandro, what happened to your voice?
I am sick DeLilahooz.
You're sick, DeLilahooz? So you had your name legally changed to Sick.
No.
Then why are you sick, DeLilahooz? Anyways, Alejandro DeLilahooz, or rather, Sick DeLilahooz, and I will be making cream puffs with a trio of fillings. Again, a trio, for those of you who do not know, is 3 different things. Today, we will be making delicious cream puff fillings.
Puffs. I do not know.
Anyway, with Alejandro continuing to make mistakes, we will be adding butter, salt, and water into this amazing antique Weight Watchers bowl. Anyways, on to the butter. 6 tablespoons to be exact. Today we will be using salted butter instead of Alejandro. We don't want the water yet because the water warms up, and eventually, because our producers have cranked the heat up to 90 degrees Celsius, this water will boil and eventually evaporate, causing an unwanted texture in our cream puffs. And no one wants unwanted textures in cream puffs, right, Alejandro?
But water is first. Water first with butter.
Anyway, 6 tablespoons of butter will be added into this pot. If I could only find the tablespoons, our producers have placed the tablespoons in a very odd place. 1 tablespoon. Alejandro, what do you think you're looking at? Nothing? Typical. Anyway, 6 tablespoons. Alejandro, don't you love butter? Doesn't it smell so good?
I don't even know.
Anyway, I knew that would do the trick. Hopefully Oprah will come on next. Anyways, 6 tablespoons of butter. Now that we have a nice chunk of butter right here, I'm just going to carve into it with my antique Weight Watchers tablespoon. See, it says Weight Watchers right here. And if it doesn't, imagine it, audience. Get a life. Alejandro, you really seem to be mastering the art of sneaking in using the underground tunnels.
Yes.
Alejandro, why don't you do this? It doesn't seem to be working for me. I'm going to wash my hands because my hands are quite
slippery.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. I better restart because I'm not singing the ABCs. You want fair?
Here you go.
And that marks the ceremonial up to temperature once again. Alejandro, are you struggling? Because it sure looks like it. And what do you think you're doing, Alejandro? Touching the butter with your bare hands? He better have had invisible gloves on, because when he touches anything, I am 100% positive that salmonella infestation happens. Alejandro, snap out of it! Now that Alejandro DeLilahooz has clumsily dropped his beret into the water, the steaming hot water, need I remind you. Nice going, Alejandro. What a klutz. Anyways, he needs to wash his hands again because he touched his beret and exposed... Alejandro, I'm pretty sure that's not how the Canadian alphabet goes. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Not A, L, L, H, A, N, D, R, O, D, E, L, I, L, A, O, H, O, Z. I don't know what planet he's from, but clearly the kindergarten teacher...
Alejandro DeLilahooz.
Yes, Alejandro. Stating his name once again. What else does he do? Anyway, back to the butter. Now that Alejandro DeLilahooz is out of the picture, we nearly dropped this butter. Would have been a disaster. Anyway, we have added beautiful, slippery butter into the saucepan, and we are about to melt it. Okay, now that our butter has been added, we will be adding Alejandro DeLilahooz, your little friend is here, the dog. Anyways, with that beast out of the picture, we will be adding 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon of water into the mixture. 1 cup, actually. My camera woman reminded me I'm slipping again. Ugh. Alejandro, no need to remind me because I found a better one. Of course I did. Everything I do is better than you. Anyway, it would have been a fatal mistake if I added flour. Alejandro, the dog's back. Anyways, now that that vicious beast has been shooed away by none other than Alejandro DeLilahooz or whatever he is. Anyway, 2 of these nice circular... Alejandro, are you wheezing? Anyways, I had a good talking with Alejandro DeLilahooz about sanitation in the kitchen after that fatal incident. Anyways, we'll be adding 2 of these into the pot. Be sure to level it off because Anna Olsen, once again, does not like that. Just shake all of that excess sugar away because who doesn't like extra sugar? I mean, Alejandro doesn't because he's a freak. And also, Alejandro will add 1 cup of water into this. Can't believe I'm trusting him with that much. What are you thinking, Alejandro? The 1 cup is right here. Keep going, Alejandro. What are you waiting for? More. Make sure there's a meniscus that's over the top of the edge. Perfect. I never thought I'd be saying this to you, Alejandro, but... Oh, never mind. It's far less than perfect because he splattered. Horrible. Alejandro, go. Anyways, we'll be right back after this short message concerning blah blah brand acorns. Acorns are running out. Just like the stick of butter, it's depleting. The blah Acorn Foundation saves acorns from the world because they reproduce for the masses because Oprah's hair strands contain a rare chemical known as uranium-342 half-life. And uranium-342 half-life contains the materials needed for blah acorns to grow. Save the world with Oprah's hair. Thank you. Okay, now that I have brought this pot to the stove, the very hot stove, the butter has immediately melted and it is starting to boil already due to the magic of the induction industry. Now, Alejandro, why don't you take over? I have more important things to do. As you can see here, I have carefully scooped out exactly 1 cup of all-purpose flour that is nice and poofy in the air, nice and airous. I'm not sure that's a word, but I made it up anyway. Anyway, I've added the flour into this 1 cup measuring, and I will be placing it right here because after we have brought this to a boil, which Alejandro is doing a terrible job at stirring. Remember the figure 8 motion that Anna Olsen introduced. Yes, just like that. I mean, not at all. It's horrible, Alejandro. I can't bear to watch this anymore. I'm taking over. Oh. Alejandro, I caught you. I caught you licking that flour. I know what you're doing. Now that our mixture is starting to look like the surface of Venus, not Venus Williams. Anyways, I will be removing this from the heat very carefully.
I will be removing the heat. Wait. Oh.
Now that the flour has been added to this mixture, I will be stirring vigorously for 2 to 3 minutes until a nice stiff ball has formed. We don't want anything to stick to the sides, and what we are creating now is called a choux paste, or a pâte à choux. And Alejandro, do you know what that is? In your country, what does that translate to?
Alejandro DeLilahooz.
Really? It translates to Alejandro DeLilahooz? I'm quite certain it doesn't.
No. It translates to Alejandro DeLilahooz.
Anyways, as soon as he snaps out of that delusional paranoia, I will continue to stir. Actually, Alejandro DeLilahooz will continue to stir, making sure that 1 clump remains due to the Save a Clump Foundation. Alejandro, what are you doing? You need to make sure it's nice, fluid motions, just like this, like the motion of the rocking horse in the ocean motion. Don't you remember last episode?
Vigorous.
See now, Alejandro, you're not vigorous enough. Pretend the dough's Paula Deen. Now that our nice stiff dough, Alejandro, get back into the picture. We will be stirring this until it is nice and shiny. Already I can tell it is thinning up and pulling away from the pan. It is turning very shiny already. Alejandro DeLilahooz is terrified of this mixer, aren't you? What's more scary, this or butter? We're waiting, Alejandro. Alejandro, can you talk? Anyways, seems like he's not talking as usual. We will be stirring this to cool down, and if you didn't notice, we added this to the appetizing looking urine yellow bowl once again, and we will be stirring this for 2 to 3 minutes to cool the pâte à choux down. Okay, now that we have been mixing for 2 to 3 hours vigorously, Alejandro DeLilahooz will carefully crack an egg. And I will continuously stir. Make sure there isn't any of the outer membrane, Alejandro. It's getting very slippery, very moist. That's one. And now for egg number 2, Alejandro. Oh! I got terrified. As you can see here, Alejandro was using the worm technique to extract the egg from its shell. The worm technique, of course, is a technique in which, where Alejandro doesn't sing the ABC for washing his hands. Anyway. I will be thoroughly mixing this until it forms a nice paste and all of the chunks have formed together, kind of like Pangea, but in opposite. Alejandro, what are you doing? Alejandro, are you washing an egg? Actually, I'm very proud of him. He's washing the outer salmonella off of it. Almost brings me to tears, but then I realize it's Alejandro DeLilahooz. Anyways, this is egg number 3 of 4 into our choux paste, or pâte à choux, which apparently translates to Alejandro DeLilahooz. Now, the pâte à choux kind of looks like chicken breasts right now, and, well, uncooked chicken breasts, but, you know, I don't really like chicken. Oh yes, Alejandro, speaking of chicken, I've been working on my impersonations. Do you want to hear?
No.
Well, too bad, because here it is. Here's my Alaskan impression.
Chicken.
Chicken is very important. You know, Alejandro DeLilahooz will mix again. And that's exactly what he'll do. He will mix again. How do you like that, Alejandro? I mean, the Alaskan impersonation. Oh no. Alejandro DeLilahooz will now add the final egg. That's quite violent, don't you think, Alejandro? Now watch as the chicken formation happens. It's far more slippery than last time. Just take a good look and imagine that it's chicken. Now, what we have here is a very foreign object to our viewers who are very unfamiliar with cooking, quite like Alejandro. So here's a quick lesson. This is called a pastry bag, and it was invented in 1964 by none other than Paula Deen. Anyways, Alejandro will add the choux paste or pâte à choux into this, while I prepare 2 sheets lined with parchment paper. Alejandro, do you mind moving? Anyways, I've changed my mind due to Alejandro's clumsiness. I will hold the bag open and Alejandro will introduce the pâte à choux into the bag. This is a very nerve-wracking moment. If Alejandro spills even a bit, clean up all of the twin mold particles. Okay, round 2, Alejandro. Anyways, Alejandro DeLilahooz and I have switched due to his inability to hold the piping bag, or the pâte à choux rather, due to his feeble arms. Just look at those things. They're like white sticks. And we're just going to get the last remains of this paste that smells very similar to pasta. Alejandro, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you had shakeitis. I'm sorry, whatever. Anyways, Alejandro DeLilahooz and his feeble white sticks. I mean, just look at how gross they look. Alejandro, what do you think you're doing? I'll knock some sense into you. That'll teach him to be not so disgustingly horrible. And it'll also expose his disgusting weave. I mean, Alejandro DeLilahooz has a weave. Oh. You're not Alejandro de Sick, or whatever. And why are your eyes so closed? Alejandro. Anyways, Alejandro, are you okay? Anyways, Alejandro DeLilahooz will carefully cut the tip off of the pastry bag. Very small now. Not that small, Alejandro, are you crazy? Perfect, just like that, and he will carefully pipe out a cream puff. I think that's too small, Alejandro. It needs to be far bigger. Just like that. That's perfect, Alejandro. Be careful not to spill. Now, pipe it out in a nice circular motion. Still needs to be bigger, Alejandro. What are you thinking? Anyways, I'll let him finish that first abomination. Kind of looks like a funnel cake. Reminds me how much I hate funnel cakes. That's good, Alejandro. What are you thinking? Anyways, once Alejandro was done piping that one off, it's off to me. You want to end it off like a nice poof at the end, just like that. So it's perfectly executed. Nice tips like that will surely impress Oprah. On to the next row. Now that we've got a couple, and we've got the system down, actually Alejandro did that one, looks quite like intestines. Anyways, I will be piping more onto the sheet. Look at this expertise. Just like that. Alejandro, why don't you try? I'd be shocked if you get remotely close. Yes, as you can see here, Alejandro DeLilahooz is taking a slow, methodical approach to this. It looks deformed, Alejandro. Better try again. Or, better yet, better not try again and let me do it. We have added a larger hole into our bag to increase the cream puff's capacity. And Alejandro, look at how fast that dough is just running through the bag. Now, step aside, let me try. Perfect. This is so much better than those clumsy looking blobs. Now, I will be pushing the dough, or the paste rather, further down into the bag. Alejandro, were you inspecting that glass for salmonella? Because I sure hope you were. Because if you were just looking at it for the fun of it, wouldn't.
I was inspecting for salmonella.
Good. Anyways, on to the next row. Alejandro DeLilahooz. Good for you, Alejandro, chasing away all the intruders. Get away. Pesky, pesky. I don't know. We need to hire more security. Anyways, we will be adding these delicious trays of
gooey mounds
into our 400-degree oven. Alejandro, why don't you do the honors? Don't forget these. And while he's doing that, I will open the oven. Actually, I will take this off of the oven. Alejandro, what were you thinking? And these will bake for approximately 15 minutes before we reduce the heat down to 350 degrees. I don't know what to do with him. Anyways, we'll see you in 15 minutes when our cream puffs will be almost ready. Okay, now that we have added our whipped cream mixture into here, Alejandro DeLilahooz will charge the whipped cream. Beautiful. Now Alejandro DeLilahooz will vigorously shake. What part of vigorously did you not get? Now we will take off the cap. Slowly take off the cap. And extract this charger. It's very cold, Alejandro. Why don't you touch?
It's because it is cold.
That's because it's cold? Because it's cold. Good physics, Alejandro. Good physics. Okay, now that Alejandro DeLilahooz has extracted the tray of cream puffs, just look at how delicious and
bloated
this one looks. It just poofed right up, and this is one of the ones that Alejandro did. I included this one for comparison, just look. Which one would you rather eat? Clearly, this one. Alejandro. Anyways, we are going to be cooling these cream puffs down, waiting approximately 20 minutes until... Actually, then we will be adding the whipping cream, because if we added the whipping cream into the cream puffs now, we would get a runny filling. Anyways, it has been approximately 20 minutes after these cream puffs have been lying around doing nothing, quite similar to what Alejandro DeLilahooz does. Anyways, we will be filling it with whipped cream, and by the way, I'm very sorry, I lied about the trio of fillings. I feel so sorry. Alejandro, what are you doing? You know that knife has been sitting out for days now. What do you think you're doing? Shake the whipping cream before. That's good, Alejandro DeLilahooz. Now we will fill the cream puff. Perfect. Anyways, time for the next one, and I feel like I should do this because Alejandro is not very good. Perfect.
That is not perfect.
Alejandro, it is perfect. We want some oozing out of the sides, just like that. Now, we will be back when we have finished injecting them with delicious, fluffy whipped cream.
This is really what I want.
It is so delicious. I can't even bear to describe to you how good it is. And Alejandro's breaking out in rage because it's so good. Alejandro, I think our 40-minute segment's over. Anyway, while he's doing that... Anyways, join us next time on a little bit of this and a little bit of that, where we embark on even more dangerous culinary adventures.